Hello, hello, and welcome to the Unnamed Comics Podcast. I'm Alex,
I'm Cisco.
and this week is a very important episode uh, for one specific reason. This is our last episode on Twitch.
Yep, we
Just,
are going to be moving full time to YouTube.
yeah. So, we're doing this for a couple reasons. One, we're trying to make sure that Unnamed Comics is its own brand, so where people want to watch Unnamed Comics podcast, they don't have to like go sifting through my personal uh my personal channel or my Twitch channel. So we have a whole brand new YouTube channel. It is in the comments right now. It's also below the stream here. So if you are interested in that, go subscribe there because that's where all of our streams will be happening. That is where all the VODs will go. Any content that we make under the Unnamed Comics umbrella will be going there. That's very simply. We're doing it mostly just because the format doesn't really need to be on Twitch,
Yeah,
right? Like, there's nothing uniquely uh, interactive, for the most part about it. So it makes more sense to be on YouTube and to try our things there because they end up there anyway.
yeah, and then to hopefully reach out to a broader audience.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's easier to get the average person to be like, yeah, I'll click on a YouTube link. I already have a YouTube account. Everyone has a YouTube account.
Yep,
You know.
so it just make things easier.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, that's the big news. Uh, so if you want to keep watching us every week, that's where we'll be. Same time, same format. Everything's the same. It's just a different website. But yeah. So let's jump right into it. You want to start with the weekly poll?
Yes, sir. And then
Yeah.
already on the docket because we are shills. Son of Kal-El number three.
Son of Kal-El number 3. Uh, Super fucking excited. It's the cover that like had people going, "What's going on with what's going on with Superman? Why is he behind bars?" And
Mm-hmm.
why? Oh no, his dad's there. Like
It's the
it.
it's the one with Superman just outside with his son.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh well." Like he has this look on his face,
Mm-hmm.
like you know why I'm here, like kind of thing. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah, I decided to do a mom, but with your powers.
yeah, it's I'm very excited. Uh, as always, Tom Taylor's writing is fantastic. It has been consistent every issue of everything that he's written this year has been like so consistently good. Uh, that they're just gonna keep throwing series at him until he falls.
Yep,
Um,
I think this week we're also getting Fantastic Four Life Story number 5.
oh, we got that last week. No,
Mm-mm. At least I don't think we did.
Ooh, I could be wrong. Either way, it'll be out this week, so you could go read it.
Um, and then we're also getting Detective Comics
That's right. We're
and
getting Detective
Action Comics as
Comics.
well.
So the fear state, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I think you should start picking back up. Like you should pick up this event.
Like I've picked it up where I'm caught up between, spoilers for those who haven't read it. But like, Scarecrow's he's the big bad.
Yeah.
And then it turns out like, all the other scarecrows. It wasn't that the twist where none of them.
None of the scarecrows had fear toxin in them. It's
Yeah.
a purely psychological thing. Yeah. Yeah. Scarecrows basically uh, ripped the city with fear, allowing the magistrate, which was in future state. It was like the big what's the word I'm looking for? Nanny state kind
Hmm.
of like. Eye in the Sky
Hmm.
organization to take over Gotham. Got like they have essentially full power over Gotham right now. But and yeah, so all of your Batman and Batman adjacent titles like Nightwing are gonna
Yep.
be in your state for the
Yeah,
next little bit.
and it looks like I think it was in Nightwing 85,
84.
86, 84 is
Yeah.
when he came to Gotham to bring him back into the Fear State umbrella.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
it
uh
did you read 84?
I fucking cried.
Fucking
I,
when Bruce came
yeah,
to save
you
him,
know the
like
scene at
yeah,
the
he's
end of
like,
that
"Who is
scene.
it? Save me!" Right? And Bruce was just like, "Listen, my parents died in this alley. I'm not gonna let my son die in this alley." It's like, oh, oh,
It's like, oh
oh.
my god. And like, here's the thing. I read it yesterday, and I had, because I follow Tom Taylor on Twitter, so like I see what all the people are saying about the issues.
Hmm.
So I saw there were two things that I saw. Uh, it's like, ooh, my heartstrings. You know what you did. Like, and the other one is Tom Taylor's ableist, which is like, it's a ridiculous whole thing about how
Mm.
because Barbara Gordon is putting the Batgirl suit back on, which I don't know. I'm not going to tell
I think
anyone
I
how
think
I'm
it's
not going to
nice.
tell anyone how to feel, but like a person overcoming adversity through like in a world where technology exists, like you at this point we would be fighting for a way to stick her back in a wheelchair just
Hmm.
so
For
she
her to
could
be over.
only be Oracle.
Yep.
She can do both and still be an inspiring character, like because she overcame like getting shot in the like spine, right?
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents on it. I'm not. I don't want to
Yeah.
like. I don't want to go into it too much, right?
When she was like, "Yeah, someone hijacked my Oracle system," and Nightwing's like, "Yeah, just give me the coordinates of blah, 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 I'll go." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm going to fuck them up." And then she just puts on the Batgirl suit.
Yeah,
It's like I was genuinely excited.
it's badass. It's cool to see Barbara Gordon function in both roles. Because
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I wasn't too happy when she was just Batgirl.
Hmm.
Because I, I mean, I grew up mostly with her as Oracle.
Yeah,
Like that's the function she served. That's the character she was. So it's kind of like I like seeing it both ways. Also, the new fucking Batgirl suit looks amazing.
yeah. And then what messed me up earlier on, like when I was getting into comics, is that I was reading her when she was Oracle during the Teen Titans run, whenever Nightwing was there,
Mhm.
or in any of the Batman runs, or even some of the Justice League runs where she was Oracle.
She's a
It's
big
great because
deal.
she was, in her mid 20s. She life kicked the shit out of her, and she's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take a step back, but I'm still be involved. And then the one of the things I didn't like about the new 52 is that it kind of de-aged her back into a teenager.
Yeah, and it seems like they've done away with that
Yeah,
too.
so that's what I'm glad about because they
Yeah,
de-aged her to make her Batgirl again.
yeah.
And then with Rebirth, they just kind of like what they did with the rest of the titles, they merged everything to make everything canon. So, the killing joke happened where she got shot and she was Oracle for all this time, but now she can like she still has like I think it's like the strain on
She has a like it's a
the mobility
piece of
chip, right?
tech. Yeah, it's a microchip like that's basically holding her spine together. But the whole reason why she went back to being Oracle, like for the most part now, is because like during uh the death metal event, like leading into Infinite Frontier, she had like her back was like damaged. So like the chip is like she doesn't want to like worry about it too much.
Yeah, so she took that step back to like not tax that chip.
Yeah,
so that way she can still walk, but it won't fry itself.
yeah. It's kind of like I think the criticism is comes from a place of emotion, and again, I don't think these people are wrong to feel the way they feel, because
Hmm.
like Oracle is like a big representative of like a community of people that are like, oh, I can be a hero too, kind of thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like you don't have to go out there and like physically fight crime. Um, but like we have to keep in mind she's a character that like literally like I mean I don't know many people that given the opportunity wouldn't like regain their ability to walk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like what is the motivation beyond like what we want to keep her in a
Hmm.
wheelchair at this point? And it's you know, like whatever the editorial decision was 10 years ago. At this point, we've established that she has technology. Are we just going to say that it never works?
Yeah, and then
I
just
don't
keep
know.
her in the chair. No, we're gonna have her still be Oracle
We can do
because
both.
she can do both.
She's a
What
very capable person.
Yeah. Another for the weekly poll. That's not next week, but it's something that I brought up on both of our radars earlier in the week. It looks like next month, either October or early November,
Mhm.
we're getting DC versus vampires.
Which is such a. It's got to be October. That
Yeah,
screams
I think it's
October.
late October that we're getting that.
Who's writing it? Do we know?
I do not know.
I'm gonna look it up. Maybe there's some
I
info.
would I wouldn't be surprised if it's Tom Taylor. Probably not,
I
but
would
I
I'd
wouldn't.
be actually shocked if it was Tom Taylor at this point, because the man is stretched thin. He like because in November, you know what else is coming out?
Dark Knights of Steel.
Yeah, it'd be fucking wild if he was writing this too. Oh no, it's Tinian
Oh,
and Rosenberg. Oh, that's actually like a great team.
yeah, I'm excited to see because on the cover, on the illustrated cover, it's Batman and Green Arrow.
This is gonna be a 12 issue series. We're gonna
Oh
get
yeah,
a year's worth of these,
yep.
assuming like I mean, usually when they do 12 issues, I assume it's a monthly.
Hmm. I think it's
Uh,
gonna be every 2 weeks.
oh, it's gonna be every 2 weeks. So we'll get half a year.
Yeah,
That's still dope. That's
yeah.
like
I'm looking forward to it
we're gonna get some really cool series coming out of DC. Marvel
because
too. Marvel has some good stuff coming too. Like that I'm
we got
excited
Marvel
for.
Dark Ages coming. Number
Yeah.
two.
Um,
We got number two coming out. What else is coming from Marvel? Amazing Spider-Man coming out. That's dealing with the after effects of Sinister War, which it kind of retcons a lot of like the heavy beat points of history between Spider-Man and Green Goblin.
oh, like in what
Yeah.
way?
So it's like Spider-Man's facing a new enemy called Kindred,
Uh,
which is like it's a demon that brings out your sins basically and kills you with them. So whatever you're most tortured by is what kills you.
is it Gwen Stacy just attacking him?
It's Harry Osborn.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
interesting.
Harry Osborn is possessed by the demon, and he's doing this to all of them. Yeah, and then it just rewrites a whole lot by kind of rewriting that Harry has kind of been possessed for a while.
Uh,
And when I say while, I mean like about I'm trying to think of what run the Gray Goblin was.
you talking
Uh,
years?
like 11 years ago, 12
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah, 2009, 12 years ago.
So they're you know it sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that they're kind of pulling a bit of a parallax retcon kind of deal.
A little bit,
Like
but like
like
in the
he
opposite way.
he went bad, but he's like really bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, he's been good, but he's actually been evil the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Harry Osborn hasn't been the Green Goblin. He had that stint as the Green Goblin in like the 90s, early 2000s, but that's been over and done with. But it's like, yeah, he's never really been over and done with. And the time he died and miraculously came back to life is when he's been a demon the entire time.
That's
Just like
actually that sounds
slowly.
fascinating to me.
Yeah, and like it rewrote a lot of shit that I didn't like that they tried to do with Gwen Stacy
Mhm.
by saying that she slept with Harry Osborn and not Harry, Norman, the dad,
Yeah.
that she slept with Norman Osborn and had two kids with him.
Which is
They,
that's weird.
yeah, they retconned that, which I'm glad about, so that that Gwen Stacy was a clone.
Isn't that always how they retcon things with Gwen Stacy?
Yeah, yeah,
It's she's it's
especially
always a clone.
Spider. Yeah, like Spider-Man, all the Spider Men, all the Spider people can never get away with the clone clause.
The Clone Saga really fucked up comics, didn't it? Like,
I mean, which one?
oh, I mean, I would say the original got it
I
pretty
would
bad.
say the original one was great. It was that when they did it for the second, third, fourth, fifth time.
You see, I consider that all just the Clone Saga.
Like the
The,
original Clone
the
Saga
original
being
Clone storyline about like Peter Parker, Ben Riley, interesting,
yeah,
right? Uh, Everything past that original storyline is like it,
way
it's
too out
it's
there.
too out there. It's too insane for people to keep track of what they are supposed to know at like an individual issue.
Yeah, plus like clones die, they get brought back to life. Like Ben Riley has been dead for X amount of years,
Yeah,
and then they brought him back for Spider Geddon. They brought a different version of him back for Spider Geddon, and then they brought back the original Ben Riley as a villain, the Jackal.
it's, it's all
Then
it's.
now,
We could
now
do
he's
a whole
all
episode on the uh Clone Saga stuff.
we'll have that pinned for a future episode. And now he's back in Vegas as the Scarlet Spider, and we're get another future weekly poll is we're getting a Ben Riley Spider-Man run sometime in November.
I might actually
Like
read that.
I think
That's fun.
this Ben is gonna be putting Peter to the side for a little bit.
For the best.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we can put Peter Parker to the side, replace him with a villain for a while, and then like then replace him with a
Mhm.
clone, and then or you know maybe he's not a clone. Oh wait, no, he's a
Yeah.
clone. Maybe he's not. Like, but yeah. Just a little bit more Weekly Poll. Also coming out this week, Robin number 6,
Yep.
where the tournament is beginning
Yeah.
after
So
last
I'm excited to
issue.
go against Connor.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I really loved the last Robin issue where like Dick Grayson's like, "You were my Robin," and then like he lets him go.
Hmm.
Like he
And
brings
you're like,
all the
oh no,
Robins.
you took away from me. Oh
Uh
no.
yeah. It's like it's kind of like a beautiful scene right there. But we're about to talk probably quite a bit about Dick Grayson in general, given the subject
Yep.
of this podcast. I'm just double checking to see if there's anything else like of real, exciting note coming out.
I think this week we're also getting Kane number 3.
I believe you're right. Also, we're getting the start of Deathstroke Inc. uh,
Oh yeah, which is gonna
which
be like his kind of like Teen Titans company, right?
yeah, kind of. It's gonna be him kind of taking down uh, kind of an underworld of villains.
Hmm.
It's gonna be
Because,
Slade Wilson kind of like going from villain to anti-hero to like vigilante kind of deal.
hmm.
That's what it
Which
feels
is
like
which
his
is
arc
it's
has been.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool because Deathstroke hasn't really been seen for a little bit now, right?
He had his own rebirth run.
Yeah, but that wasn't very lengthy.
Uh,
I
uh,
I can't think within the last 2 years that I've seen Deathstroke in like any main sense.
yeah, no, I think you're right. Um, but I'm excited to see the character and some stuff because like Deathstroke's. I mean, he can be kind of silly, but he's a pretty cool character.
His New 52 run got me interested in the character. Like I read him in Teen Titans.
Yeah,
The Judas contract,
yeah, the
that
classics.
that weird thing he had with Terra, um, his children, Jericho, Ravager, and the other one, Slade Jr.
The one he killed.
Yeah, um,
Sorry, no,
yeah,
that was
so-
the other one. No, sorry, that was both of them.
yeah, it was both of them. Um, and then we're also getting a Batgirls comic soon.
Oh, I'm so excited for that one.
Yeah, because who is it? It's going to be Stephanie Brown and Orphan, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be
Cassandra Cain?
yeah, Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain uh underneath Oracle umbrella kind of thing, where Oracle in the chair. It's kind of a almost a Birds of Prey
Yeah.
style team, which I'm all for. Like
Which
that's just an exciting run.
out of the Bat family who do not have a comic run, I would love to see an Orphan issue.
I was about to say the same thing. That'd be fucking great.
Like I would like to see like at least a 6 issue series with
Miniseries, yeah.
Orphan.
I don't know how
Just to
far you
take
could
the
take the
art.
character. A limited run. I would like to see something.
Yeah, a limited 6 issue miniseries where we test out Cassandra Cain and her mother
Yeah,
Shiva. Yeah.
yeah. That is a supporting character that I would love to see become a main character.
We're also getting King Shark issue 2 or 3.
What? Wait, when did? Am I forgetting that there is a King Shark comic again?
I think so.
I
It came
feel
out like 2 weeks ago.
I feel like we talked about this. I think we might have even talked about it on the podcast. And I was like, "What? Who's the market?"
People
Like
who watch
people who saw
Suicide
the movie, you know. Uh,
because it is a Suicide Squad presents Shark King, King Shark. But this isn't obviously the one for the comics. This is Nanawe, but he is definitely a lot smarter in the comic. And he is the deity, uh, the shark demigod,
yeah,
because his father is like some giant 200-foot long shark god.
yeah. Just one more quick thing for the weekly poll, and then we'll move on to our main topic of the evening. Uh, but we got something a little special coming out that we talked about this off podcast, but Batman versus Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham, a
Mm-hmm.
Fable Batman crossover, which I mean I love both characters.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't read Fables, that's a comic that I don't think we've talked about on the show
No.
at all, but it's an amazing like if you like a gritty like cop drama kind of deal and
And
if
like
you
you like the fantasy element of things,
yeah, if you want
because like,
something like superimposed, if you want a cop drama superimposed on like children's stories,
hmm
just go read Fables. Like I can't recommend enough. Go try the game too.
yeah. It's what's another good comparison? What's that TV show, Sleepy Hollow?
Yeah, you know what? It's great. That's a great comparison.
Yeah, it's a cop Sleepy Hollow,
Yeah,
a detective Sleepy Hollow. Because Big B is the big bad wolf, who like he did the things in the traditional story, but he's trying to get away from that because he doesn't want to be seen as a bad guy anymore.
yeah. Basically, they all ended up in New York
Yeah,
City, uh, or New York State, I guess more.
yeah,
Uh,
because the adversary, which when they revealed who the adversary was, I was like, really,
yeah,
really. Um, which is like I'm not gonna I don't want to delve too into it because it is a very complex story
yeah.
that I feel like we can break down in another episode.
Hell, we could do like a. I this is something I've been thinking about. Maybe doing like a book club kind of thing. Adding like
Hmm.
a book club segment, like a once a month, where we
Okay.
go and we just go, hey, this is the this is the book for this month. Go read it. It's a
Yeah,
volume.
this is the month for February. So
Yeah,
pick up the first volume if you can. If
yeah,
not, here are the sites.
exactly. It would be. I think that'd be really fun. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with that. Uh, let's move on to our main topic. This
Yep,
was your
support
idea after
characters.
our last week.
Yeah, support characters who outgrew the support character
Yeah,
and ushered themselves, not themselves, but you know what I mean. They were ushered into the mainstay, like the main lineup of
yeah,
like when you think of the heroes, you think of them as well.
yeah. These are
Right off the
kind of.
bat.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say these are kind of the characters that you would like see like being supporting characters that couldn't carry their own book,
Hmm.
moving into like having their own series, like their own uh, run.
Yep.
That's mostly what I
Um,
meant.
and
Sorry.
then and then right off the bat, you mentioned it earlier, but like number one is Nightwing.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like one of the first characters that I can think of that experiences this. You know what I mean?
It's a toss up between him and because I'm not sure. Did he become Nightwing before Wally West became the Flash?
I'm also trying to remember if he was Nightwing during. Well, here we can find out. We can find
Yeah,
out.
we have the technology.
Nightwing
You know, Nightwing is definitely number one on the list.
first appearance.
Um,
There we go. It's Nightwing in. So he did 1 year before,
okay.
like literally in July of 1984, which puts him literally right before Wally
Hmm.
West takes over for Barry Allen. Um,
Okay.
so that was kind of like a there was kind of like this shift where all those Teen Titans characters kind of moved on. Some of them stayed. I mean, Cyborg up until the
Raven.
New 52
Yeah, when they
was
got their own runs.
yeah. Um, which as a long term, as like a long time like Teen Titans fan, I was like Cyborg not part of the Teen Titans in any
I, I
capacity.
did I did like the change that he was one of the founding members for the Justice League.
I thought it was interesting. I was just surprised by it,
Mm.
because he kind of took over the traditionally Martian Manhunter roles,
Yep.
you know? So,
Yeah, because the Martian Manhunter in the New 52, he was part of uh the United Justice League United, Justice League International,
yeah, he didn't show up
Justice League of
much.
America, Justice League of America. That's what was part of,
Yeah. But
and they were brought together by the United States to fight the Justice League.
such a such a weird time to exist.
But Nightwing is definitely number one on the list by
Yeah,
here.
but just by the
Um,
first. I'm sure that there's probably an example of a character earlier, but that's kind of this that's not uh I, Nightwing is the character, the archetypical transition that we're talking about where it's kind of a sidekick to your own hero kind of
Yeah.
deal. And I'm glad you brought up Wally West because those are the two that I immediately thought of after you suggested this topic of characters who are no longer supporting characters. Um, because it's Nightwing grows out of being Robin, gets out of Batman's shadow, becomes like his own completely new hero. Whereas you have Wally West, who Barry Allen dies
And
supposedly.
then he fills in the role.
Yeah, and he's living in Barry's shadow because at that time everyone knew he had no secret identity.
Yeah.
And everyone knew who Barry Allen was and who Wally West was.
Hmm.
So it was always a well, you're like are you're going to be compared to the old Flash,
Yeah.
and that happened for like a decade.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. Because I think it's because I think you're only what, a year older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the Justice League animated show,
Yep.
like when that came out, it was Wally West. My Flash was Wally West.
Yeah.
And like he was very much, I didn't have the comparison between the two really until
Barry Allen came
Flash
back.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people. Like I mean, there aren't that many people that were reading Barry Allen that like read more Barry Allen than Wally West because I mean Wally West has just had a longer run.
Hmm.
You know, he just has. And it's getting even longer now because he's the Flash again.
Yeah, because
Um
Flash was currently displaced.
yeah. Um which has been a real joy for me. But like we talked about this on the show before. Yeah, like Wally West was my Flash growing up. Like
Hmm.
it's the same. Like there's no reason why you would know about Barry Allen outside of reading comics where Barry Allen shows up. Because
Yeah.
Barry Allen doesn't just disappear like that over the course of that what 35 years he was no sorry 25 years he was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
He didn't show up.
he showed up around. He was like he was in and out.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't. There was like a lot of supposition that he just wasn't actually dead. Like there was
Hmm.
a lot of hints that he would be back eventually.
Yeah, because like it would be like Wally running into the Speed Force, and then he'd get a glimpse of Barry running, or Barry would come to him to say something, and
Literally,
then go
they would
back to
have
the Speed Force.
conversations. like
Yeah.
or Barry from an earlier point in his career as the Flash would run into the future at some point, and then he'd be like, "Hey, what's up, Wally? Wow, you're the Flash now, huh?" like
Hmm.
it's like stuff that wouldn't pass muster nowadays. Kind of like
Yeah.
I think nowadays would be like, well, what does that do to continuity? How does like, but that Barry did Barry Allen know he was going to die? What's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Um, but they're very different, those two characters, in terms of how they grew into becoming their own heroes. Where like Nightwing kind of throws off everything that
About being Robin.
about being Robin and about being Batman, right?
Hmm.
Because Dick Grayson is like again, he's the first. Like we can't call anyone else the first because literally it would be Wally West if it wasn't Dick Grayson. Um, he gets so fed up with Batman. It's almost like a growing pains spat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's tired of his parents, quote unquote.
Yeah. And like
Um,
I remember the issue because after rereading it, I don't remember like the day it came out. But like yeah, like he's like it's just that panel of him yelling at Bruce, like you don't take me seriously, you sideline me too much. I'm a grown man, you can't be doing this to me. And then he just takes the Robin costume, throws it on the ground, and walks away.
yeah, like, and that's like that's the beginning of that generation of heroes becoming heroes and not just sidekicks.
Hmm.
Like you could argue that most of the Teen Titans were sidekicks. Like they didn't have like a hero that they answered to, but they were like, they're young, so
Yeah,
they all work together. Um, but you see with Nightwing this kind of, it's not even a passing of the torch because he goes to a completely different city.
yeah, Bloodhaven.
Yeah, he he runs the Teen Titans for a little while longer. Then he's like, all right, I'm gonna be a cop in Bloodhaven, which I think a lot of people forget that Nightwing.
Yeah, because like he wanted to be a cop in Bloodhaven to like learn the city
Yeah,
first before he reintroduces himself. And I don't think he had the Nightwing persona down at that moment,
yeah,
but he knew he was going to come out as his own hero.
yeah. It's kind of funny, like to see that though. You know what I mean? It's that shift from, hey, I'm Robin, I'm quippy, and I wear no pants, to
Hmm.
like, I'm Nightwing, I'm gonna dress like a disco dancer.
With the fucking giant ass
Yeah,
collar coming out to right here. It's also a very different approach to building the identity than what Bruce did. Because when Bruce was building Batman, he had Matches Malone
yeah,
to infiltrate the underground, the criminal underground, because he wanted to know the criminals. And it shows the difference between the two, where Batman sees the bad in people, and Dick sees the good.
yeah.
Because Dick wanted to be a cop to
Dick
see how
Grayson
they,
is the
yeah.
heart of the DC universe in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
You know that,
And this
like
is
we,
confirmed every time by Superman.
yeah, like Superman says it literally. Batman goes, Dick would be a better Batman. Like
Yep.
if
And
I
then
let him.
he takes it that step further. When Bruce dies, in the 2000s, like 2008, 2007, and then he is forced to take up the mantle of Batman, but he owned being his own Batman.
Yeah, he Dick Grayson has never been like he's had moments where like there's been like a lot of darkness. I can think of like the original um comic where Tim Drake is uh trying to get Dick Grayson to come back to being Robin because Batman has gone too dark after Jason Todd's death.
Hmm.
Where like literally Tim Drake's whole thing is, hey, I found out that you're Batman and you're Robin, and that this guy was Robin, but now he's dead. So can you go back to being Robin so this guy won't be so sad?
Yeah,
Like
Batman needs you.
Batman needs you, and Dick's like, uh, Dick's kind of like, not to quote the Titans TV show, but Dick's kind of like, fuck Batman.
Yeah,
Like I can't be that guy, and in that like comic, Dick Grayson is dealing with Tony Zuko being released from prison, I
yeah,
believe.
the person who killed his parents. Yeah.
The person who killed his parents, and it's kind of, it's a really wild time to see the big differences between these characters because you think that Dick Grayson might be about to go like bad, you know,
Hmm.
where it could easily have happened. It was like a very dark comic. Like you see the way Dick Grayson is acting. He's acting in dark in the same way Bruce is acting dark.
Hmm.
Um, and like in the end, he doesn't, like, he doesn't do it, right? He doesn't.
Yeah,
He doesn't maim Zuko. He doesn't kill him either. You know, he doesn't
he
kill
puts
him.
him
He
back
doesn't
in
make,
jail.
right. He just gets him back in jail. Like it's like Bruce. If Joe Chill, I mean, we've seen since then that what Bruce will do with Joe Chill. Turns
Yeah,
out he'll just be like, he'll forgive him.
He would teleport into the room, be like, "Yeah, you made me.
Yeah,
I'm Bruce Wayne. Go fuck yourself."
yeah. It's like now, like, Dick Grayson is always like the light to the darkness, even when he's not Robin.
Yep.
Like even when
Yeah,
like the new 52 was going on and like everything was like really dark.
yeah. Whenever you saw Nightwing in any Batman run, the it felt like it could be something they could be dealing with something very serious, but with Nightwing there, it felt lighter.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people this my opinion of this like time period was it's not there's no way it could be popular. There's no way to last. So I'm gonna enjoy it for what it is at the time. The Rick
Mhm.
Grayson era, people hated because while Rick Grayson was essentially Dick Grayson without all like his memories and like the trappings
Yeah.
of like that like growing up, he was also Dick Grayson without the humor and like that
Hmm.
that kind of like quippy spark
Yeah,
that like keeps things light.
he was more akin to Bruce as Rick Grayson.
Yeah, kind of. Like it was if we have a like Dick Grayson's over here, Bruce Wayne's over here. Rick Grayson kind of like moves the thing a bit more over to this side,
Yeah.
right? It's so I get why people don't like it. Like
It was definitely interesting, very interesting to see,
yeah,
especially the interactions between Rick and the rest of the Bat family, where Rick was just like, "Get the hell away from me! I don't know any of you."
yeah. I'll
Which,
say this: it rejuvenated
sorry.
the character. I
Yeah,
think we wouldn't be having the amazing run that we have now
without Rick Grayson.
without Rick Grayson. So I would take 3 more Rick Grayson runs
Hmm.
to get this run, and we only had to do one. So
Yeah. Although we could spend a whole
we could do a
episode
whole thing
on
in Nightwing.
Nightwing,
Let's move on so we can talk about some other characters.
I feel like you could put almost the entire Bat family in this category.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
I
could
mean,
put Bat.
fuck, you could put Damian Wayne there now
Um, I would hold off on that until
until he
this
gets a
series.
new name.
Yeah,
Wait,
because
so wait, does Tim Drake count then? Because like he had his series and then he was Red Robin, but now he's just Robin again. Like so, it's does he lose
I
it?
would
Is he
lump
now
him
no
into
longer
the
a character?
series because he also went through that really hardcore change.
Yeah,
Because was it before or after his father died?
it,
Did
it
he
was
change?
it was after because it was in that the missing year. You
Yeah,
remember
so like
that?
he became Red Robin with like the cowl and like the full red suit and like the insignia in the middle of the chest.
Yeah, the
And then
Doctor Midnight outfit.
yeah, I mean that carried over into other like Elseworld stories where Red Robin was Tim Drake, like Kingdom Come, like Red Robin was there as Tim Drake.
Yeah,
Um, and like I feel like the second your character outside of who you were as a sidekick gets brought into Elseworlds, is when you're out you can be outside of that support character group.
I kind of see what you mean. Like it's kind of like oh, we're writing them assuming that people will understand who this is.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to explain it too
Hmm.
much.
Yeah,
Right.
because
I see.
even during the New 52 with Tim Drake, he had the double R for Red Robin. They got rid of the cowl and everything, but he had the two R's.
During the New 52, he also had like a Robin like the bird kind of
Yeah,
suit. Like
yeah,
the wingsuit had wings and
yeah,
feathers.
and like he could throw the feathers too.
I mean, I'm not even mad about that suit. It was kind of like it was different, you know. But
Um,
yeah.
Red Hood can also go into this category.
Yeah, I think any of the Robins. I do agree. I think you're right about this. I think until Damian Wayne, if he ever does get a new name that's not Batman, or
Yeah,
like, eventually it will be Batman. You know?
or even if he, because I do think he is the last Robin for
Yeah,
Bruce.
I agree.
Um, so if he stays Robin and he's just the Robin, I think after this run until we see like with the future of this character outside of being Batman, Um, I would still have him in the support character for now,
Yeah, just to
um,
slide it
along with
over,
like,
because I do know that you have an out in like 30 minutes, right?
yeah.
And I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the newest character that fits this criteria. Can you guess who I'm going to bring up?
Is it part of the Bat family?
No,
Is it DC or Marvel?
it's DC. I mean, I'm
Why
not
am I?
gonna make you think about it too hard.
Yeah, what is it?
It's
Who is it?
Jonathan Kent is the newest character that fits this criteria.
Oh, oh yeah. I mean,
He we in the even like the first two issues, he's shown that he is very much his own hero.
yeah, but I feel like you are correct, but he fills more into instead of like the Dick Grayson
He's Wally
part, he
West.
fits more to the Wally West.
Yeah, like we said, there's two ways this kind of goes. Like you either replace or like inherit the mantle, or you make your own.
Yeah, and like he's also kind of doing both,
Yeah, I
where like
mean,
he's taking a more active role in Earth politics and stuff like that his father didn't do because of he'd be known as the alien trying to impose his will on people.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think he's one of the more interesting ones because of that. Where it's like he's Superman, but he's not like he's not just like, hey, we're just doing a rewrite of Superman where it's his son and it's kind of like the same character. You know, like
mhm.
we're not going to really change much. He'll be essentially Superman, but he'll look younger.
Yeah, he's the Superman of Earth. He's little Superman. Big Superman is out in the universe.
Yeah, like he's very much like his own Superman. Like when I right now reading comics, when I think of Superman, I don't just think of Clark Kent, and I think that's a hard bar to cross.
Yeah,
Like, but I'm already kind of there.
yeah. I think it's gonna take me until the end of his Jonathan Kent's first arc for me to get there.
Yeah,
Only because I'm still entranced by the Superman Clark Kent.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
that is my Superman. And I'm not saying Jonathan Kent can't overcome that in my book, but like he's not there yet. His
no,
issues are just starting, and although I love them, I just want to see how far it'll go.
I 100% feel you. I think I'm very early on in like this uh transition. I guess I'm feeling it a bit sooner than I would have expected.
Yeah, like if this had happened during the New 52 run, let's say beat for beat, this all happened just time scaled back.
Yeah,
I feel like I would be more inclined to lean towards Jonathan Kent,
it's very
but
early.
because I had the New 52 Superman, pre-crisis Superman, Golden Age Superman, Silver Age Superman. Those Clark Kent is my Superman.
Yeah, I mean Clark Kent will
Um,
always be Superman, but I'm essentially just saying when I think of Superman, I just think of two people now.
mhm,
Like it's no longer just like the singular person. Like when I think of Batman, I it's hard for me to think of anyone other than Bruce Wayne, even though I love Dick Grayson as Batman. You know what
mhm.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
because he's not Batman. He's Dick Grayson. He's Nightwing. He's his own man, right? Like when I think of the Flash, I think of Wally West and then Barry Allen
Mhm,
because like they both have inhabited that role so well, right? Like so, I feel like at least for me, Jonathan Kent is already getting to that point where I'm thinking of him in that way.
mhm. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Um, Now on the Marvel side of things,
Yes, on the
uh,
Marvel side.
uh, can you guess what I'm gonna say? But I want to hear who you have for Marvel, if you have anybody.
I'm trying to think for Marvel because it's hard. It's a little hard because Marvel is, you know, this kind of a blind spot for me for some of the deeper lore.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of like who was like a side character that became a more main character. I guess
I have
War Machine is one of those characters that has become like
yeah,
right. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
When you think of an armored superhero, you think of Iron Man and then War Machine,
yeah, like
and like they both have their separate runs.
the entire like Iron Man like I guess quote unquote I'll call it the Iron Man family. You
Hmm.
know, rescue and like that those kind of like characters that like went from side characters to heroes in their own right, and to some degree are still side characters, but like
Yeah.
um, have become insanely popular over time for like groups of people.
Hmm.
Um, God, I'm trying to think. I mean, when I'm thinking Marvel, I'm trying to think of like characters that like were their own heroes, but like weren't as big of a deal before as they are now. And I think maybe Scarlet Witch would have been one of them at the beginning, not as
Yeah, when she was part of the Brotherhood of You Mutants.
yeah, like before like she became like an Omega level, like a serious Omega level
Yeah,
threat to
she was
like
part of this
reality.
ensemble, and then she grew into something bigger than the rest of them.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I
I
think
I can
there.
tell that you have something on your head. If you say Miles Morales, I'm gonna slap you the next time I see you.
So Miles Morales was never a support
He
character.
was established before he was Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and
Um,
before like any of his run.
I was gonna say Falcon.
Oh, now I feel dumb. That's such a like
Yeah,
a, that's
'cause
it's right there. It's right there.
he was at first one of Cap's partners,
Yeah.
and then he grew into this bigger role in the Falcon series, as well as eventually becoming Captain America.
Yeah.
And then
Shit.
also another one of Cap's partners, Bucky Barnes,
Yeah.
the Winter Soldier.
These like it's interesting because these are characters at least whose recent growth is could easily be just completely attributed to uh
This Marvel Cinematic Universe.
yeah, the MCU. Like but they both did have like these arcs in the comics before then.
Yeah, because Bucky Barnes
Was a
was dead.
child.
He was dead for 60 years.
Bucky Barnes was also originally like a kid.
Yeah, he was a kid assassin. Yeah.
Yeah, when he was introduced, like he was like this little guy.
Yeah, he was like 15 years old, palling
Yeah.
around with Captain America, killing Nazis.
Yeah, he was kind of like the Jimmy Olsen, like, hey, I'm Cap's buddy, like
Yeah, and
kind of
then,
deal.
over the years, they changed that happy-go-lucky kid was like, yeah, he was happier than the rest of them, but he still killed a lot of people.
Yeah,
And then they brought him back in 2005 as the Winter Soldier, which was from the character he was in the 40s or 50s to the Winter Soldier, vastly different characters.
yeah, but it's a really cool arc,
And
right?
then
Like,
seeing Bucky come out of the Winter Soldier persona and then reclaiming that for himself, also really great. Um, Damn, I had another one. Oh, Shuri,
yeah, yeah,
because T'Challa in the comics, he is the Black Panther, but there was a time where he was stripped of that title
yeah,
because he royally fucked up during the Latveria Wakanda War, and then Shuri became the Black Panther, and
yeah.
arguably she was a better queen than he was a king.
I think you're gonna see a lot more of Shuri, uh, in upcoming years.
I would hope so.
Well, again because of the MCU effect.
Hmm.
I I think that's the best way to term it. When a character is introduced in the MCU, their comic book sales skyrocket so that
Hmm.
people will stick them in whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't get around that. You just made me think of another one though. Jane Foster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thor. Yep.
yeah. I like now that we're talking about it. There's a lot of examples of this because there was that era where characters, like side characters, were becoming just the main heroes in Marvel.
Mhm.
Like it was
Where
almost a
they were
branding
filling in
initiative.
the roles. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, like where and it would a lot of them were characters you had seen before. Like some of them
Hmm.
were brand new, but a lot of them were just like, hey, you know this person? Remember this person from like the lore from like they're buddies with the hero. Hey, they're hey, we're giving them the suit.
Yep.
Like
Um,
you liked it,
I
don't
would
you?
also put members of groups into that category.
Hmm.
Like the most prominent family in the Marvel Universe, the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wouldn't really care for a Reed and Sue Richards run, but we did get
Yeah,
a thing, Human Torch run.
I forgot about that. That's like, and that's exactly what you would want from like a spin-off kind of
Hmm.
run. Like, right?
And then in
I don't give a shit about Reed Richards and Sue's marriage.
Yeah, they're smart. We get it.
Yeah,
Um, we're also going to be getting a thing run in November.
that's gonna be interesting.
Hmm.
I I'm really curious as to what they do with it.
Now, question for you: would you put Venom in this category?
That's a really hard one because here's why I have a difficult time with it. Venom has always been a like a list villain.
Hmm.
He wasn't like a side character, like he wasn't like a bit like character. He wasn't and he's not a supporting character really. He is the antagonist, right? So I guess it depends on the if we're talking about overall, I would say no. But if we're talking about like in the stretch of the past maybe decade,
Hmm.
I'd be more inclined to go yeah because he has
See,
become such an interesting hero, like
like
or anti-hero.
I would put a Venom in this category only because you're right. He has been like I would even go so far as for Spider-Man. At least he's always been S tier for
Yeah,
villains.
yeah,
But like I've seen villains like yes, you can have a good compelling villain, and we have seen villains get their own comic book run. Venom also being an example of that. But I see a villain as another kind of support character for the hero, and when that villain evolves into something bigger, other than oh he's Spider-Man's villain, Spider-Man can't ever really beat him. Um, to okay, we're gonna take the Eddie Brock out of it. Venom is now Flash Thompson.
yeah.
Um, and like
Agent Venom.
I think when we got to Agent Venom is when we saw a huge turning point for the symbiote Venom
Yeah,
into not a crux for Spider-Man, but just a more palatable character for everybody.
he's more
And then
interesting.
from there built up. Because from Flash Thompson, we got, Agent Venom, that fucking combat suit Venom with the guns and everything, to with still Flash Thompson to Space Agent Venom with the Guardian of the Galaxy.
It's Agent Venom. Yeah,
And then it comes back to Eddie Brock, who tries to go back to villainy, but the symbiote is too changed for that. It's like, no, no, no. I know the difference between right and wrong. Flash taught me right and wrong. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. Like, yes, we can kill people, but not people who haven't done bad.
yeah. There's a moral component. It.
Yeah, and like that was always missing from Venom, and then Venom got it within the past 15 years.
You know what? You sold me. Yes, I'm changing my answer to yes. uh, because it is the whole like the whole reason why a comic book will do well or not is not just the hero; it is the
Hmm.
villain. And the more complex the villains are, if they're not even trying to do something particularly evil, you know, like if it's just wrong given the situation, that's more interesting.
Yeah.
That's a more interesting villain. I think you just talking about Venom actually gave me a thought because I think I thought about this week at some point, but then I was like, eh. Um, but Harley Quinn is one of those characters that has been so supporting character that was aggressively just like, hey, I'm the Joker's girlfriend. I'm crazy. Perfect.
Hmm.
And then we've seen such an evolution over the past decade
I
or
would
so.
scale it back to like 6 years, like 6, 7 years.
I think the new 52 is where we started to
The
really,
character started evolving.
yeah. Like because I think like what we saw happen was, oh, fuck the Joker. I'm my own villain. Oh wait, am I a villain or was I just
Hmm.
fucked up?
Yeah, and then
I'm gonna
the
kill the
her
Joker. Fuck the Joker. Let's fuck Ivy. That's great. Awesome.
yeah,
What am I doing? And we've seen Harley Quinn evolve from sidekick to villain to full blown hero.
yeah. Especially
Like,
now where she's working with the Bat family.
yeah, she's literally like part of the Like Batman calls Harley Quinn for things.
Yeah, and not only in the mainstay universe, but we even saw this in Injustice
Yeah,
when the Joker nukes Metropolis, and even she was like, okay, that was a step way too far.
yeah. It got too dark for Harley Quinn. Well, the Joker
Hmm.
was dead. Also,
Yeah,
I think when you take the Joker out of the equation, Harley Quinn will always become a good guy in the end. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, because her brand of crazy isn't uh like villainy; it's just anarchy
Hmm.
usually.
And not only that, it's a smart kind of anarchy.
Yeah,
Where
well,
like we've seen it in some of the comics she's in, where she's like psychoanalyzing whoever she's beating up.
yeah.
It's
It's
like, oh, I see you have a tendency to do this. That's because you have daddy issues. Bah!
it's easy to forget that she has a doctorate. Um,
So it's funny because I don't ever forget that about any of Batman's villains.
yeah, they're mostly like fucking like
Almost
PhDs.
all of Batman's villains have PhDs.
Yeah,
Yeah, besides
the Joker.
Clayface, Joker. But even then, that's suspect because to mix chemicals the way he does,
Yeah, I mean,
like he had to take some kind of class.
he took a high school chemistry class and just really excelled. Uh,
Does it count as a doctorate if he kidnaps people from Gotham University to teach them?
yes,
Okay, then I think he had
I
a
think it
doctorate under.
does. Learning isn't about where you are; it's about what you do.
Because like even Bane is like one of the smarter villains that Batman has.
Yeah, I think a lot of casual readers don't know these things though, right?
Hmm.
So it's easy to write off like, oh, Harlequin's crazy. Scarecrow, he loves fear toxin. Like, we're seeing right now that Scarecrow is not like a B tier villain.
Yeah, he's
Like,
he's he's like A tier.
yeah, he's an A tier villain. Like, he's a scary motherfucker. He's doing exactly what Bane and Joker did. I we had a fucking Bane City of Bane, like a Joker war, and now we're having a fucking fear state, which is just Gotham getting taken over by three villains wholesale in a row
And like
in the
that
series of
is
like a year.
that is the theme for Gotham though.
At this point, it is like I mean,
I mean, it's for me, it's always been the theme for Gotham because even in the '80s when you had Nightfall, Bane took over Gotham,
yeah, but like
and
what we're
then you
talking
had
about, yeah, but then we didn't have it like for a long time after that.
no, well, yes, we did. We had No Man's Land,
Yeah,
where Gotham was cut off from everywhere else, and the villains and everything started running wild. Ivy took over for a little bit. Um, I think Freeze took over for a little bit.
yeah.
Clayface took over for a little bit.
I'm not arguing that every villain has at some point taken over Gotham. I'm just saying, in the past 2 years, we have had three different takeovers
Oh yeah.
by singular villains that have completely got like gripped the city
Hmm.
and caused mass mayhem. And somehow Batman is like, I can still do this. I
Yeah, like
I figured
I
it out.
think
I won't mess up
I
next
think
time. It's too close together. It's too close
I think
together to justify Batman being intelligent at this point.
I think by the end of Joker War, I think me as a Batman, I'd be like, okay, I tap, I give up.
Yeah.
I dealt with this one, I'm leaving.
Well, that's what's gonna happen. Like I mean, it's already been confirmed that at the end of Fear State, Batman goes global.
Yeah.
Like, so whoever's gonna be in charge of Gotham, well, oh, it's what am I saying? It's the new Batman.
Yes, Lucius Fox's other son.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm brain dead. I was like, I don't know who's gonna be in charge of Gotham. He's been introduced. We've talked about him before on the podcast.
Yeah, with
I'm reading it
Miami
right now.
Batman. Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
Which I'm still on the fence about. I forget his name. Um,
Jack?
but I'm
Jace?
Jace Fox.
Well, if that's not his like actual name.
Yeah, I don't think it's his actual name, but I don't think he goes by his actual name.
Yeah. Wait, I gotta show you. I'll say this. I did grab this variant cover
Oh,
for
nice.
it. I was like, it's so fucking beautiful, right?
I do like that he has like the mouth guard.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's like, oh man, Bruce Wayne, one of the most famous faces of Gotham, and no one's ever tried to like line it up. No one's ever drawn a cowl. Like literally, Jimmy Olsen made the joke, but it's true. Like, you don't think that people who take photos or are reporters like somehow get a picture of Batman and then like or have a picture of Bruce Wayne and you're like at
Holy
some
shit,
point
he's Batman.
like
Um, fuck, what was I gonna say?
suspension of disbelief. Uh what were you gonna say? I've railroaded us into the new Batman.
What was I gonna say?
Is there another character that you
Oh,
had thought of?
I was gonna talk about Fear State. Um, and like I don't know, I'm excited to see the outcome of Fear State, but like also Batman Urban Legends
Batman Urban
also has
Legends, such a treat.
it has me wanting uh it has me wanting Bruce Wayne to not be Batman anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this a couple times. The way I feel about it is it's time for the old guard to pass on the mantles.
Yeah, yeah.
I want
For at least, yeah.
for at least like a generation of
Mhm.
readers. You know what I mean? I would be happy if over the next 20 years, similar to how the past 20 years have been, like we see a rejuvenation of comics in the way that uh, these younger generation of heroes, not like the youngest, but like the one below the original. Just
Mhm.
like the Justice Society was here, the JLA was here, and then the Titans are here. I want the Titans to
To shift up.
to shift up, like it's happened before. Kind of.
Mhm.
It hasn't happened in a long ass time, but this is like I think it's about time. I think we're running out of time for Bruce Wayne to not be old.
Yeah.
His son is what, 15 now?
Yeah,
Like it's how long are we going to keep these characters young?
and not only that, I want to experiment more with certain characters.
Yeah,
Like we've seen the future where Tim Drake becomes Robin. I mean, not Batman.
Batman. I love that.
Where his future Batman self is currently somewhere in the universe running around.
You see, that's the kind of thing I think about sometimes. And I'm like, I don't know when they're gonna pull him back out, but I'm gonna like lose my fucking mind when they do.
Like they have that, but also like they experimented with Jason Todd being Batman for that Battle for the Cowl.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna lie, I want a limited series of Jason Todd as Batman.
yeah. I'd be okay if Batman was a rotating face.
That'd be
Like, you know what I mean?
one
Like,
like every other month the villain's like, okay, which one are we gonna get? Okay,
is this the
if
one
it's
that
who we
shoots you
think
in the
is
face?
Nightwing, if it's who we think is Nightwing or who used to be Nightwing, we're gonna get bruised, but we're gonna go to jail. That's it.
Yeah,
If if there's a tinge of like red to any part of the costume, we're gonna be shot. You
yeah,
know, they may not be kill shots, but we're losing our kneecaps.
yeah.
So then if you see a staff, we're gonna get beaten up.
They they
Worst thing,
they they're probably just gonna hack in. They're not gonna even come in.
I feel like no, Tim Drake would come in and beat them up. I
Yeah.
think Tim Drake would
He'd
beat
turn
them up
all the
worse
lights
than
up.
Nightwing would,
Yeah,
but not as bad as Jason would.
it's so funny though. Like we're talking about like who what we would want to happen to Batman. It's like I what's happening to Batman right now is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I'm okay with this idea that Gotham gets left to a new hero and Batman goes global because it feels overdue,
Hmm.
right? Like it's like art like Bat can Batman really only handle one city? And even then, like if he can't handle that one city well, he needs to start outsourcing.
I mean, he did that during Batman Incorporated
Batman Incorporated was like such an exciting thing. It's one of those things where I was mad about the new 52
that they got rid of.
because they got rid of such a great idea. Like Batman Incorporated is amazing because it's like, hey, we have Batman all over the world. Bruce Wayne is like, I'm a public face of Batman, like I'm funding him, which takes away a lot of like the whole how does Batman get his shit? Like he doesn't have to hide, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of genius, right?
And like, I feel like it is great that they're doing something else besides another Batman Incorporated
Yeah,
because the deconstruction of Batman Incorporated by Leviathan was also just fucking amazing.
yeah. There's like there are some things that I wish they had kept in the new 52.
And
I
Incorporated being one of them.
and incorporated is one of them. I think that trying they because I think a big part of the new 52 was just to de-age the roster.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't so even so much to like, hey, these characters are so new and different. It was also partially to be like, well, they're getting too fucking old. Like Bruce Wayne can't be like 50 and doing all this. I mean, he can, but like then we have to start writing about his hips and shit.
Yeah.
Like, we have to start talking about Dark Knight Rises, like levels of like, oh, all of his joints are jelly. Like, you know, it's kind of that thing where they're writing themselves out of a hole with this initiative, and
Yeah.
like I kind of wish that they had done a lot of the stuff that they did in the New 52 because I don't think the New 52 was bad. I think it had a lot of things that came out of it that ended up being really good.
Hmm.
But I wish that they hadn't de-aged the characters so much.
Yeah.
Because for some of
And
them it
then
just wasn't necessary.
yeah, like Superman, it wasn't necessary.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman, it wasn't necessary. But like we did get interesting runs out of the heroes, and I'm glad to see it at least now it catching up with them
yeah,
because and it's kind of beautiful how this kind of segued. But like to wrap up this segment into a nice little bow,
mhm.
where we have support characters being main characters, and now main characters being support characters.
Yeah. It's like how we talked about Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond last time.
Yeah,
Like,
where he went full circle to being a support character.
yeah, it's kind of in a way it's a beautiful thing, and I hope we see more of it.
Yeah, and like we're seeing it right now with Superman, Clark Kent. Where we're kind of seeing it with Wonder Woman,
Yeah, I
where
mean,
she's not completely involved in the transition, but there is that transition from Diana to
yeah, I
what's her
can't
face?
remember either.
Yeah, the Amazon from the Amazon.
I
Um,
feel like you just called in a wrestler.
the Amazon from the Amazon, Wonder Girl. And then we're also going to be seeing it with Aquaman pretty soon as well,
Yeah,
where
I think
he's
that's
ending
also
up
already happened.
yeah,
Becoming
with becoming Aquaman
Aquaman becoming. I don't know. I that
with
it was
with
listed as
Jackson.
gayest cover at my local comic shop. They had superlatives for the cover. I sent you a picture.
Yeah.
Uh, Whereas like the Nightwing cover was like sexiest cover. It's like
Hmm.
this is a
And like
this is fun.
I'm looking to see Jackson become the new Aquaman,
Yeah,
because then we already see in a future state where he passes off the mantle of Aquaman to Aquawoman, Arthur's daughter.
yeah. It's crazy how quickly things are probably going to progress in the next couple years. I
Yep.
mean, I wonder a lot about where they'll go next. But right now, I'm in love with what both companies are doing.
Yeah, and like I want to see we're getting it steadily from DC. The support characters become the mainstays, and the mainstays taking the step back. I do want to see more of that in Marvel,
Yeah,
because we got a taste of it specifically with Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man,
yeah.
where Captain America, he got aged up and he passed the mantle on to Sam.
We had it for like 2 years.
And then Iron Man dying, and then Riri Williams taking up the mantle
Yeah,
as in the
Ironheart.
Invincible Ironheart.
Yeah,
No, no, before she got Ironheart, she still went by Iron Man,
yeah.
and then she transitioned into her own with Ironheart. I feel like we should bring her back into that mainstay role.
Someone's like banging pipes outside my window.
No, yeah, I believe we should bring Riri Williams back into the official new Iron Man role,
Yeah,
because they kind of took her out of that with Champions, and then with Iron Man being back or whatever. Then also we saw the transition with Lady Thor.
yeah. Which was a great run. It was a run
Hmm.
that was easy for me to jump in on, having
Yep.
not read a lot of Thor, and just like be like, okay, I can enjoy this.
Yeah, and then we had her run, and then we had Odin's son, Thor the Unworthy,
Yeah, which was also a
and
great
like
run.
yeah, a fucking amazing run. Um, and like I want to see more of that in Marvel. Like I know with certain heroes it'd be easier, like Peter Parker and Miles.
Yeah,
Like I can't see within the next 5 years Peter going, okay, I no longer want to be the Spider-Man of New York City. Period. I don't want to be
it,
Spider-Man. Period.
it's not gonna
And
happen.
it's not, but I can see it happening.
It's because
Like
Spider Man's whole thing is that like New York is a big character. Like I would love to see Spider Man like age up a little bit and
Mm.
start to take on more of a like um tinkering kind of like I'm the guy who makes the tech a bit.
For the spider people.
Because Spider-Man's incredibly intelligent. Peter Parker's an incredibly intelligent like guy. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't have to be out there in the field all the time.
I do think though that eventually, because in the Marvel universe, when it comes to things in the future, at least, you the future heroes still mention Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor. Hell, Thor is still around for the future because he's a god, whatever. But they're not regarded, and like this also attributes to why Spider-Man's like one of my number one heroes. Is that Spider-Man is attributed as the Earth's greatest hero.
Sorry, I messaged something funny in the chat.
What did she say?
She said, take up Black Ops, become the next big villain. Peter Parker becoming a villain, like a very serious threat, would be
See,
kind of interesting in that capacity, though.
I that would be actually really like I ooh
Kind of nice.
ooh that's another episode we can do is like rewriting heroes into good villains.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that could be like a whole series of things that we could do. Again,
Yeah, because
I want to just reiterate because we are like I know you have to go soon. I, I know you're going to get
mm,
pulled away at any moment. I want to reiterate we are starting up our new YouTube channel. For those of you who weren't here at the beginning, I will post the link again. That's not it. Why am I doing that? Um, but we're moving to YouTube for the streams and for potentially other content, comic book related
yep.
content. It's the God, it's the Unnamed Comics YouTube channel. The podcast will live there, and anything else we make, like these kind of, we can make videos based around that concept.
hmm
That could
About
be,
turning heroes into
yeah,
villains.
turning heroes into villains. That could be its own series of things. That would be very exciting.
Yeah.
Um, so if like that interests you, and I'm gonna harp on it hard because we're not gonna be on here next week. Uh, go subscribe to that channel. It's empty now. This will be the first video up there.
Yep.
Um,
Subscribe, click the bell icon for
yeah,
notifications. I realized that, I'm gonna have to write something to remember to say that
yeah.
because all the best ones say it at the beginning and the end.
Like, subscribe, bell. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. Do you want to end it here?
Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point.
I
Like we,
think.
we have a tease for what we can talk about in the future. And we kind of wrapped up the supporting characters who have made their stamp in the mainstay.
Yeah, this was a fun episode. I'm glad you suggested this topic. Um, but we'll see you guys next week. Same time, probably. Same place. Well,
Yep,
no,
different platform.
different. Same time, different place, same format. We'll see you on YouTube. But yeah, peace.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here for Twitch, and we'll hope to see you on YouTube.
Bye.